This first week, your assignment is almost cartoonishly easy. You're going to fill in a color wheel with colored pencils. It's going to be amazing. It's going to change your life. Mostly what we're doing is having this assignment as a test for how you're going to turn in assignments. So we're going to be submitting pretty much everything through Canvas, which means that you're going to make physical work that you then need to digitize. So our process is basically you're going to make something, you're going to take a photograph of it. That photograph could be taken with your phone, or you could use a scanner. There are several in computer labs in either the art building or the library. Or you can check out a camera from the Wold, which is a resource center that's down the art history wing. You'll find it in room F109. They have digital SLRs and other cameras that are way fancier than anything you need. Once you've taken a photograph, you're probably going to need to clean it up. So in Photoshop or something similar, GIMP is free. There are a lot of other options. Your phone might even have enough of a basic software to allow you to crop so that you don't have things out of square and we're focused just on the artwork that you've created. You want to adjust the levels, we'll talk about that in just a second, and adjust any color if you need to. Mostly, if you can tell your camera what light you're in, your white balance will work out much better. If none of that made sense, I've uploaded a variety of videos that you can use to figure out how to document your work. They're in the course information module, the very first one. For most everything in this class, you're going to be turning in a 3" by 5" image saved at 300 pixels per inch, dot per inch, whatever you want to call it, in JPEG format. If your size isn't exactly 3 by 5, just save it at 1500 pixels on the long side. And if for whatever reason PDFs are easier for you to submit than JPEGs, sure, it'll work just fine. Your actual assignment for this first week is to, as I said, fill in that color chart. It's as much about how you're going to clean up the color chart as it is the color chart itself. You're going to be making the color wheel with the Prismacolor pencils that came in the kit, and then you're going to need to correct it. Probably when you take a photograph, you will want to adjust the levels. If you're in Photoshop, you will click the Image tab at the top and then hover over the word Adjustments. There's a little arrow that'll spit out a second menu, and then you want to click on Levels. It will give you a little graph with two little triangles, one that will move towards where the black is, another that will move towards where the white is. There's actually a third little triangle for gray in the middle. Never touch it, leave it alone, don't touch it. If none of that made sense, there are about 11 billion different how to use Photoshop tutorials on the YouTubes. And like I said, I linked to one that's going to mention it. For the actual assignment, what am I asking you to do? Well, first, we're going to play around with subtractive color mixing. So essentially, I want you to try to create, as best you can, a color wheel using only the red, the yellow, and the blue, the primary pigments that come in the pencil kit. This one's not exactly the same as what you're going to have because we used to use pastels. Everybody hates pastels, so we switched to colored pencils so that maybe you'd actually use them. In the first one, you're only going to use those 3 pencils to try to make every other blended combination. For the second color wheel, you can use any pencil you own, including if you have some that aren't in the kit, to try to make as accurate a color wheel as possible. I'm showing you this example not so much because they did it perfectly, but just so that we could have something to talk about. We're going to do a lot of picking on previous students who aren't around to defend themselves so that I can give you tips on how to turn in the assignments without making big mistakes. I have written apology letters to every single one of them on elaborately monogrammed stationery. None of that was true.